Hello, all. Welcome to the Red, White, and Blue Constitutional Audio Show. Today we have recently elected Democratic Congressman Nicco Copado, a representative of the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, organization William Pham, and as a guest expert in medicine, we have Dr. Morgan Diehl, MD. Starting us off, we will have Congressman Copado explain why he believes there should be a section added to the 21st Amendment protecting the legal age of consumption as 18 for alcohol, and including marijuana in states that allow it. Following, we will have Representative of MAD, William Pham, explain the flaws of this proposal and the evidence against it. Afterwards, to wrap us up, we will have Dr. Morgan Diehl explain the effects of these substances on the human body and her opinion on Congressman's proposal. Dr. Diehl is a medical professional who runs a clinic who studies the effects of drugs and alcohol on the human body and is the foremost expert in her field. Take us through your thoughts real quick, Congressman.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Travis. I want to amend the 21st Amendment because I believe the legal drinking age should be lowered down to 18 from 21, for many reasons, with the first being that you're a legal adult. You're allowed to do various activities such as getting a tattoo or buying a weapon other than a pistol. You're allowed to join the military, register and vote in an election, buy cigarettes, buy a house, get married, be prosecuted as an adult, buy lottery tickets, and gamble in states that it is illegal, according to procon.org. You have no limits and you should not be restricted from buying alcohol. There are people who are underage drinking all the time. It is going to happen regardless of the legal age. It should be brought down to 18 so that it will decriminalize alcohol-related arrests in addition to training adults to understand how to consume alcohol properly. By prohibiting this age from drinking alcohol in safe environments, it will cause them to drink and also binge drink in areas where it could be much more dangerous as a party and lead them to have unsafe behavior. While making the legal age of alcohol to 18, it will stop the need to buy fake IDs. Also with this, it will boost the economy in such ways as there will be more people buying alcoholic beverages from restaurants, bars, and other licensed places to sell alcohol, which would benefit businesses all around in addition to the government's tax revenue. Also, in addition to this, marijuana should be allowed to consume at 18 in states where it has been legalized. This is because it does not cause any damage to the brain, where alcohol damages both the white and gray matter of the brain, which the gray is the myelinated area and the white matter consists of all the neurons, according to medical news today.
That's an excellent explanation of your stance on the matter, Congressman. Mr. Pham, what do you have to say about the Congressman's position?
Well, thank you for having me first off. And I just wanted to make sure I have all of Congressman Copado's points correct. He wants to change the drinking age from 21 to 18. He wants, because of the legal argument that as at 18 you have most of the abilities as you are an adult. You can also increase the economy, and also that doing so will allow for people to be trained more better to handle alcohol. And he also wants it'll create a better economy. And he also wants to legalize marijuana. So do I have everything correct, Congressman Nicco?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so going down the list, changing the age that you are going for is a bit arbitrary because we've already set in stone that it's 21. It's already set in law, and it's been that way for a long time. So it doesn't really need to change, because that would also mean that you have to go through a whole host of logistical issues, both between the state and the federal level. Second, doing this will increase the number of drinkers available at any given time. Since there are so many people that cause accidents and death because they drink and drive, this will just mean that there will be more in the process. It's just a thing of probability. You're more likely to get the more people you have. And I have to question your ability, your plan to teach younger adults how to drink responsibly, because you've only mentioned that there's only one, that we're going to do it with no plan in place whatsoever, not even an outline. Because of all this, like I said before, there's a higher chance for accidents and death, whether through drinking and driving or even through how alcohol is a depressant, and it'll lead to people committing more crimes that they wouldn't normally do because their inhibitions have been removed. So I also have to point out that because this is only a law issue, it's a bill that was set out back in 1984, the Minimum Drinking Act, the Legal Drinking Age Act, that there's no point to amending the 21st Amendment, which only main purpose was to remove the 18th, which is prohibition. Since we don't have prohibition at this point. It's serving its purpose. There's no point to changing it. As for your points for underage drinking, where they will, go drink and binge and all that and have issues, they're more likely to do it anyways, regardless of the drinking age, if they're always seeking out these places where it's, they're unsupervised and they're also underage. So they're going to cause the issues anyways, and it's still going to be a crime regardless. So because of all this, this will basically boost the death toll, but like you said, it'll boost the economy, where the alcohol industry will make more money and the government will benefit because of taxes. But that means that the medical industry will also benefit, like the pharmaceuticals, the actual doctors who have to perform surgeries, people who have to treat patients because of all these accidents. The auto industry will also benefit because more cars will be destroyed and damaged and all that. So small industries will flourish in that direction as well. Then you also have lawyers who will will have to debate and go to court, and it will cause more judges, of course, which means the government gets more jobs. So all of these areas will be stimulated when you increase the number of drinkers by lowering the age. But do you really think that's a good idea when in the process you're going to end up killing people? Now, the final point that you had discussed was legalization of marijuana. So the thing is that under the CDC guidelines and rules, marijuana is still considered a Schedule 1 drug, which means that there's no given medical purpose for this kind of drug. It's on par with like heroin, crocodile, things like that. It's worse than methamphetamines of all things. And it has the highest chance of being abused. So unless you have some specific information saying otherwise on this, I have to question your rationality for this. And on top of that, I have to wonder, since you're a congressman who is susceptible to being bullied or influenced by special interest groups, where do your actual interests lie, and what are your motives for introducing this kind of motion or bill?
Real quick, I did not accept any major donations from any special interest groups. I also did not think that there would be an increase in crime or irresponsible abuse as long as we educate our young adults on how to use alcohol safely. Originally, the law passed, the National Minimum Drinking Age Act passed in 1984. That set the drinking age to 21 was heavily influenced by private groups and organizations such as MAD.
Great points from both sides. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's hear from our medical expert, Dr. Diehl, and see what she has to say in regards to these two highly debated subjects.
First off, thank you everyone for having me. I think both Congressman and Mr. Pham from MAD have excellent points about alcohol and marijuana age limits. Since alcohol is specified as a depressant, there are many tolls according to youngmenshealth.org on the human body when consumed, such as impaired vision and slow brain function. However, every body develops at a different speed. Not only alcohol, but cannabis, a psychoactive drug, has been proven by drugabuse.gov to affect brain development. Both arguments have valid points to their view, but what it comes down to most is the person who decides to take part in either activity. Research aside, the most important part about drinking or using cannabis is knowing if your family has a history of substance abuse, knowing your body can handle the decision you make, and last but not least, whether you want to do it for yourself or from social pressure. Alcohol and marijuana both have pros and cons, but ultimately at the end of the day, if you want to do it, you should be able to. And if you don't want to do it, then simply don't do it. Thank you again for having me. I hope I gave you some helpful insight. Have a good night, everyone.
A lot of really great points and evidence has been thrown around here today. I hope my listeners will follow this topic as it progresses in the near future when Congressman Copado presents his ideas in Congress. Thank you to my guest that took the time to appear on the show, and to my listeners, thank you for the support. Give us a like or leave a comment, but definitely share us around, and we'll talk to you next time. Good night.